Welcome to Leaders Get Real. I'm your host, Christy Tong. I'm talking with Guy Kawasaki about his new book, Wise Guy. And here he shares what it was like working for Steve Jobs and what has formed as his own beliefs about leadership. Now, what were pros and cons about Steve's authenticity?
Well, Steve was a unique person. He truly was a visionary. And, every millennial who's starting a company today to, do online dating or to share photos, they all position themselves as visionaries. And I think that the visionary word is a much stiffer test. So I would say in the history of business, there's been Steve Jobs, there's been Walt Disney, there's been Elon Musk. There's 3, 4, 5 of all the visionaries. It's not everybody who starts a company.
Mm-hmm.
Steve was truly a visionary. He did not suffer fools. He did not tolerate stupidity. It was his way or the highway, unless you were willing to argue against him. And arguing against him was a high-risk proposition, but it was also a high-return proposition. So all the stories, the movies, everything you heard or read about him are pretty much true, but you don't understand the context. And so if you ask people who've worked for Steve, do they regret it? Would they have not worked for him if they could go back in time? I don't think there's a person who would say, no, I regretted it. I wasted my time. He traumatized me, whatever. I think we all look upon our days with Steve Jobs as an honor and a privilege. And it wasn't easy, but the metaphor that I like to use is when you look back on your life, the teachers, the coaches, the mentors who were the toughest on you are the ones that added the most value. And when you're in the middle of school, you might look for the easy teacher, the easy grader. But when you look back on your life, you'll say, wow, it was the English teacher who made me do so much work. That's the person that made me a better student, not the teacher that let me get away with stuff. So to apply it to your audience, one could make the case that you should be the tough boss. Don't try to be the boss that everybody loves. I'm not saying you should essentially go out and make enemies, but over the course of one's career, I learned more from Steve Jobs than I learned from bosses who let me get away with stuff.
Yeah, in your book, you say he demanded excellence and kept you at the top of your game. It wasn't easy to work for him. It was sometimes unpleasant and always scary. But you say you wouldn't trade working for him for any job you've ever had.
That is true.
Now, when it comes back to you, and certainly you've gleaned some great things from that experience, but you've also evolved into the leader that you want to be.
One would hope.
And what would you say is important to you in being an authentic leader yourself?
Well, for me, being a leader, it means bringing out the best in people, enabling people to excel, creating opportunities for them, getting out of their way. I think the most important thing a leader can do is hire people who are better than he or she is. So, if you're a leader and you look around the room at your direct reports and they're all better than you, that should be a great source of pride. If you look around the room and you're the smartest person in the whole room and the best person in the whole room, you are a failure as a leader.
Well said.